Welcome to The Social Sippers. I am Stephanie Clemens. This is
Jessica Maloney.
And we are here with our special guest here, the Matchy crew from Indigo Media.
No big deal.
Welcome.
They always match wherever they go, apparently.
Yes, this was actually an accident. We do this all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. This is Lauren, and this is Andrew White. They are the faces behind Indigo Media.
Yeah, Indigo Life.
Indigo.
It's
Oh,
okay.
it's totally fine. Everyone says Indigo
Everyone
Media.
says Indigo Media.
3 words
Just
is
don't,
too many
That
to
is
say.
way too many.
Yeah, Indigo Life.
You guys really
Media.
need to.
That's why we
shorten it
did rebrand as just Indigo Life, but still everyone calls us Indigo Media.
Literally, I think
everyone.
that means we should just change
Just
it to
change
Indigo
it back.
Media.
So we're Lauren and Andrew with Indigo Media. You've heard it here first. After 18 years, we are rebranding again.
Woohoo!
I love it.
All right. Big announcement right out of the gate.
Right.
Right out of the gate. Surprise. Cheers on.
Yeah.
We do need to cheers
We do need
to
to
coffee.
cheers.
They
This is
went
coffee.
boring and went
Yes,
coffee.
thank
Here's
you.
the
Yes.
holiday
So
season.
the
and they have to
holiday
do-
season
Yes. Happy
From
holidays.
Winans.
from
Cheers.
Winans.
Very good.
It's just boring flavored brews. That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
But
delicious,
the
though.
hazelnut is
Yes.
very good.
Hazelnut is delicious.
Highlander
The
grog
grog is delicious.
Very good.
Yeah, I like this. This is
So,
fun.
I mean,
Well,
if you
thank
wanted to add
Yeah.
something special to it, you definitely could.
I know.
right?
Like I said, if I didn't have to do
Kahlua.
some training here in about an hour and a half, I would be mimosaing it up with y'all.
But, you know, it happens. It happens.
It does. It does.
All right. So, Indigo Life Media.
Indigo Life.
You are a
Media.
husband and wife crew, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We are.
In it together.
We are-
Did I
Exactly.
say 18 years?
The company has been established 18 years, which is
18?
crazy.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
We've been at it 11.
And we've been at it together 11. So, yeah, Lauren, I stole her.
Goodness.
This is Start Juicy. I stole her from her man. I stole her from No, I'm joking.
You stole me from the working man.
I stole you from the working man.
Man.
and then
All right.
turned me into an entrepreneur woman.
AKA the
okay, we
CEO.
like it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Running the show.
Yeah.
all
Is that your
organizational.
technical? Is that on your card?
CEO and executive producer. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
And Lauren does own majority of the company. That is on paper. I mean, that's the real deal. And because rightfully so, you know, you two know me, and I've, having the past that I've had and the life that I live, I can only do so much, and I'm only capable of doing so much. So when we started dating, and I said, "Hey, would you leave your full-time job and your benefits and all of these
All of your
things,
security.
all the
Yes,
security in
anything
life
for you?"
And she's like, "Well," she said, "first you got to start paying me at least this." And then I need to get this. And she had a whole plan in action. I was like, you know what?
Put it in writing?
I can do this.
She'd been thinking
Surprisingly,
about it
I
for a
did
while.
not get it.
And I still have the first check that I ever wrote her.
Yes.
And she said, if you can start giving me X amount a month, I'll start looking at it. Well, long story short, she jumped.
Oh.
She came on board. And in her first year, she tripled the company.
Ooh,
Let's just start there.
How did,
huh?
how did you do
So-
that?
Big move.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Good start.
That's
That
what I
was a
said.
good
You're the
start.
boss.
I know.
You can run a company. You please just bring your wisdom.
Yeah,
And so it's been fun.
Yeah, that was
I know, because you
wild.
guys just started, just the two of you, right? Or were there other folks around you? Or was it
There was
mainly-
one other one.
Okay.
Yep. So I started this right out of real estate, during real estate actually, and
So I do want to talk a little bit about that because
Okay.
we started that in the lobby.
yeah, I know.
And then we decided we need to put that on hold.
His
but
riding horses?
I did.
yeah, yeah. God.
Insert clip
Insert
now.
clip now.
Yeah.
I'll send you all that. Yeah.
Send it.
Yeah.
Definitely send it.
Oh, Jesus.
Plop it right in there.
So
So you were doing real estate,
yeah,
wholesaling,
yeah.
and then decided
You
to
sound so excited.
Yeah,
It was an adventure. It was
just
a lot.
Like a
I
total
just-
piece of shit work. Like,
It was crazy because I just got into real estate. My background was music. I worked in music industry. I worked in the hip hop industry as a DJ and producer. Did that straight out of high school. Dropped out of high school at 17 and then did that for 10, 11, 12 years. But what's cool about this is that Lauren and I both grew up in real estate. So her father is a realtor. My mother's a realtor and broker. So we both grew up very similar stuff.
Very similar.
Both of our parents wanted us to take over the companies and do all the things, right? So I followed this for a little bit of time.
yeah,
And
you
then,
didn't sell it.
my mom didn't really sell it too well, but however, I tested the water just to see. It's because I was needing to get out of the music industry. It was very toxic and kind of crazy. And so I was like, all right, let's give this real estate thing. Worked with out-of-state buyers, sold a lot of investment properties, wholesale style stuff. It was a lot of fun, but it just didn't fill me up. And
Yeah.
so I needed something that could fill me up. And the next thing that occurred in my life that I could remember that I loved was video. So I started making a real estate reality show called The REO Life. And I followed around an REO agent, Scott Kitchline, who used to be with us years ago. Still alive, but I mean in a brokerage.
I know. I was like, wait,
That sounded awful as it came out.
Did
Love you,
he
Scott. Sorry if you see this. Scott's awesome. And we did a show called The REO Life. Well, it went viral on YouTube and blew up. And like a company out in LA found it and they wanted to pitch it to networks. And so they started pitching it to TLC and HGTV. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm in Fairborn, Ohio making these videos. So that clicked for me. And I'm like, what if I brought businesses? So long story short, I was like, hey, Mom, this is fun and all, but I think this is a little more lucrative to the future of where I want to be. And she supported it and we jumped. But that was kind of the real estate helped me build the investment, get into it, and then start this media.
Everything happens for
company.
a reason, right?
Yeah.
And people are fascinated with
Yeah.
real estate and real estate shows. And so what year was that?
2006.
So very early on.
The beginning of YouTube. This is
Right.
when it was like cat videos and me.
Which one would you like to watch?
Yeah, I was like, this is a shit house. If we had smell-o-vision right now, you'd be like,
Yeah.
but it was intriguing, and I get it.
Yes.
Why it blew up, why it was so.
that was the time.
That was
It
the
was
time.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Hoarders meets Cops. It was it was a crazy show.
Yeah.
There's still some episodes out there. So
Yeah, you just go The REO Life on YouTube, and it's everything shot in like
we've gotta throw that
360.
in.
Yeah.
Everything's shot in like 360p because this is way before 1080p and anything. So when you see it, wear your
It
reading
looks like
glasses.
a horror movie.
It's like watching Charlie
it's like
Brown.
Blair Witch with real estate.
yeah.
But yeah, that's how
So
we
we're
got
in
here.
this one. There's
Yeah.
no roof.
And it was funny because Lauren and I being in that background of real estate, we both kind of laugh like how our families wanted us to be in real estate, but we're on this side of the track.
So then you brought Lauren on after your whole YouTube
Yep.
adventure and viral, all that, and she
And it was
tripled
just
the company.
She tripled the company.
Yeah.
Company, and at that, it was just Cameron and I, he's still with us. So Cameron and I were running kind of the ship together way before Lauren came on. So when Lauren came on, it was Lauren, myself, and Cameron. And Cameron's still with us. He's our senior editor. He's in Brooklyn living it up.
So the dream team, you guys
Yeah.
have been at it
Yeah.
for a
Now
while.
it's us three.
Yeah.
What's
a little
been your
while.
biggest challenge after tripling the company?
It continuing to grow.
Right, so how do you do that? Like, how did you make it grow? Was it you're just a marketing genius? Was it his, Media Mogul?
Yeah.
Was it intentional, or did it just kind
Did
of-
it just happen?
I want to say, I think our natural strengths would be what would contribute to a growth. And so for us, it feels natural. But I think that's also just because it's who we are, is we don't stop. We're super consistent. I'm always looking at systems and operations and how can we improve and create efficiency. And Andrew is just a very, very good cheerleader. So he keeps the mindset there when I do feel tired. So I think the combination of just our natural strengths is what created that, because we pump out so much of our own original content and shows that has inevitably, we can connect all of those projects back to signed contracts that have helped us grow. So because of our original content, practicing what we preach, and that is definitely this man right here is the Energizer Bunny. He can go.
So that you think the consistency has been a huge part of that? Because I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a tipping point, and it's a lot like life. Building that muscle in the gym, you're not going to get these results unless there's consistency. The consistency takes a lot of things. It's not just showing up. You can't have an active body if you're just dumping crap into your body. It won't perform at its optimal best.
Right.
So why throw crap into your marketing or your business or your content? Be intentional, be consistent, show up, believe that there's something there that you can keep putting into. And that's what I see all the time fail for a lot of businesses and individuals trying to create a brand is the consistency. They stay consistent, but it's just enough to get by. There's no intentionality behind it. So what
I would
Lauren's
say
saying,
authentic consistency. Because
authentic.
if you're not enjoying the process and you're doing it because you're attached to controlling an outcome, that's not going to work.
I think that's
a good
one. I
point.
do think that's something that
That's really good.
feeds through into the projects that the two of you do together, is the authenticity behind it. You're genuinely excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's and it's even projects where I have a vision for something and I'm feeling it in my gut. there's been times where Lauren's like, I'm not.
So this is on you.
This is a you thing, and I want you to know, like, I'll still be here for you and support you, but like, I don't see where you're going with this.
So you're agreeing to disagree, basically?
We're agreeing to
Yeah.
disagree,
Okay.
and then I stay consistent with it enough. I believe in it enough, and one of those shows became one of our largest original shows, Decoding Dayton. We've done over
yes,
32 episodes, and it kept growing and growing.
For 5 years, he was
5
consistent.
years,
But
I
on
did.
year 1, I was like, I'm so exhausted trying to run the company. I can't help you with that.
At what point
Right.
were you on board with Decoding Dayton? Did
I
it take
was-
a couple years?
I just couldn't give it a lot of energy, and I think that I tried to be
I don't even
supportive,
think-
but I honestly,
I don't think you ever did. It was just like
I
this is
showed
sweet.
up to
Yeah.
when I could,
Yeah.
but to be real, like there's 36 something episodes,
Yeah.
and I've maybe
Yeah.
watched like 5 of them all the way through.
Love the authenticity there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like,
Yeah, that's real. That's
very
real.
real.
Because
That's real.
that's his lane.
That's
like
mine,
he's
yeah.
in that lane,
Yeah.
and I'm over
Exactly.
here making sure that we are like delivering our client experience
Right.
on time, on budget. I'm making sure that our team's happy. I'm making sure that
Right.
the company's running, and so
And I couldn't take that personal, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
own
that's a good
wife
point.
doesn't want to be a part of this with me. What the?
you
oh
never
my-
second guessed it?
No.
thank God.
But I'm that type of person where
Right.
that's my personality, though. Like when I believe in something, you're not going to stop
You're gonna
me.
run with it.
and I'm
that's-
like the same
that's
way.
awesome.
and that's
with him.
why I am that's why I am where I am. I feel is one asset to it, but I believe in something. I'm going to go get it, and if I fall on my face, let me fall on my face.
Right. And you can say, I
Don't
told
tell
you
me,
so.
yeah. Don't tell me what you think about it. Let me do it.
Let me figure it out.
and then and then Decoding Dayton opened up an avenue for then people to see about the secrets of the city. And the next thing we know, like Lauren said, they're all attached to a contract or some type of work. So then the Dayton Five Rivers Metro Parks reach out to us and they say, we want you to decode our parks. We love your Decoding Dayton. And I fought them tooth and nail to make their name more around their brand. And they said, no, we wanted to have decoding in it
Yeah.
because you built something.
Wow.
So to hear Five Rivers Metro Parks come to us and
Yes.
say this, and then we did a 6 episode series with them. 7, I don't know.
I think it was 6.
Decoding Nature, just YouTube it. But we did, I think, 6 or 7 episodes that decoded the history of the Metro Parks from the flood to today and the future. They honored what we built within Decoding's brand.
That's
And
incredible.
It was really cool. It was very humbling. It was really sweet to hear that.
Yeah.
It was
So you
honoring.
think that's what put you kind of on the map, so to speak? Is that what
I think
those
with-
beginnings, or
We have quite a
Or
few.
just
We have
grew-
quite a few of those that have
Yeah,
happened.
entertainment marketing. Yeah.
Our entertainment marketing has always been key. It goes back to the real estate video of me making a country song riding on a plastic horse from the 80s that I grew up on in the middle of a pasture with other horses. Or a rap music video at the Country Club of the North where I steal their golf cart and I'm putting my business cards everywhere.
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
It is.
And it's,
people love that
And
shit.
people love that.
Yep.
So I just have never been that boring guy. And so when I became a media owner and I had access to all this equipment and this world and all these talented
you're like,
people,
here I go?
I'm like, yeah, why not?
Endless idea.
My endless idea. I have like 5 shows right now that are like brewing, they're ready to come
Yep.
out. And she's probably tired of hearing them. And she
No.
knows I'll do them. She knows I'll do them eventually.
If I hear about it like several times over the course of years, I'm like, I know
like-
it's
you're
gonna,
like
I
jotting
know
it down.
it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's the
just a
one.
matter-
It's a one that's like a random whim that I'm. I'm
Where's
more
that
of the
coming
Like a
random
Saturday
whim.
night mention.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where is this coming from?
Yeah. Yeah. So the entertainment marketing is what set us apart. That's what grew. That's what created that growth that was so challenging, still is. I mean, we went from a team of 3 for 8 years, 9 years.
No,
off
it
and on with-
gradually.
it gradually grew with freelancers, but like now
Yeah.
we're at a steady 11.
Yeah, we have a
And is
team
that
of
with your
11.
traveling show that you've been doing?
That's one with
or
our
that's-
traveling show, and then we have our shows back here that basically our crew just pops on and off when they're not on the road touring. They're
We have
back
our
home
clients and
filming
shows here. Yeah.
our shows here.
So are they all
So it's the
local?
same. Yeah. That was,
Not
yeah.
all of them. Not all of
Okay.
them. No, we fly some in from LA to tour with us. We fly some in from Kansas, Brooklyn,
So how are you finding people? Just kind of word of mouth, or
all connected
know it's a
within
good fit?
Ohio market. A lot of
Okay.
people went to film school here or
Wright State.
Wright State
Yeah.
or OU or Ohio State. You know, they're based in here, and then they leave and go to LA, New York. They move.
Yeah.
Some are just people we found on Instagram that our husband and wife team were like, hey, we want to work with y'all. And they're like, we're in Kansas. We're like, cool, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Is there an airport nearby? Cool, we'll fly you out. And that's kind of Lauren hunts down a lot of really good talent too, like that way, finding them on social media.
The really good women always move away, though. It's a male-dominated industry.
However,
that's a good point.
however, right now where we're at
We do.
and where we're going, we have quite a few women on staff
Yeah,
now.
I'm working on that.
Who
like
are,
I'm
and they're
tired of all
badasses.
this
Are you?
testosterone.
Yeah.
But
kind of
we
building
need
the
it.
background
We
as
need
more
it,
like
especially
a women
Yeah.
focused, women-centric.
especially on tour. We definitely need more women on tour.
Yeah.
because it is male.
Soften it.
Yeah. Well, probably intense.
Yeah,
during
I have enough feminine energy, I think, but I need a lot more to help out because some of this testosterone is a lot. I love them, but yeah.
So your lumberjack show right now, where did that concept come from?
I've been seeing that advertised. I'm like,
Yes.
that's
It
Andrew
is.
Lauren.
It is taking off. Do you want to
Yeah,
lead it?
so the Unstable Lumberjacks. We met with Stu, the host, who owns 3-in-1 Tree Service in Beaver Creek, about 3 years ago. And he's actually had a vision for this show, and he named it and everything for several years. And so the seed was planted between the two of us, or the two entities, 3 years ago. And now it's come to fruition, right? So doing that together has been super exciting. We were able to show him another reality show that we shot called I Am 3 years ago. So it was like, hey, this is something that we've done that's similar.
Yeah.
And then here we are now. I Am actually, since that was the kind of the seed that was planted, ended up, it was with a local person here in Dayton who's a big influencer on the internet.
So has that not aired yet?
It had aired, and producers saw it, and it got Erica Fitlove, the host of I Am.
Yep.
It got her. It helped get her to the stage of Biggest Loser.
Okay.
And so she got on Biggest Loser in 2020. I think it was 2020. Yeah, because it was right before the pandemic. Yeah. And so seeing that helped someone here in Dayton, Ohio get to a big screen was super exciting. And so we'll see if we can do that with Stu and Unstable Lumberjacks.
The power of media.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
the
lot-
way you guys
it's a
are
lot of
able to
fun.
like capture what the people are doing behind the scenes is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I have a, to have somebody like that hold a vision, stay true to it,
Yeah.
be fully committed,
For 3
and then
years.
for 3 years,
Yeah.
and then come back to you and go, "Hey, I know we talked 3 years ago. That
Still
proposal
thinking
you
about
gave
it."
me is probably out of the. Give me the new number." Like someone who just gets it, who's in it, who's not trying to shortcut anything. It's
Yeah.
just like going after it. He's like a bull. He's got a dream. He's got a vision.
Yeah.
I love that. That's how our client that we're on tour with is too. These two, I love because
Talk about that.
jumping after things you desire are what we lack, and because it's
Yes.
scary. It's-
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one
it's-
likes fear.
No one likes fear.
Right.
No one
No
likes
one wants to
unknown.
fail,
Nobody.
especially
Right,
publicly, and I feel like that's
Oh,
maybe
God.
something that holds a lot of people back that have so much potential now.
Yeah.
You're gonna fail publicly.
Right.
At
So
this point, you've got to put yourself out there.
he's jumping, and he's investing, and so instead of doing traditional marketing and boring marketing, he's like, I want to create a show. I want to show people what we do. And by that, we were with him yesterday. He's like, I'm already getting phone calls. I'm like, get ready, dude. You're about to be a superstar. You're going to be getting stopped in public. People are going to want to take
Yeah.
pictures with you. It's real. Like, we witnessed that years ago. Like, it happens. And he's like, yeah, this is cool. Like, but he's already ready he sees what's
I
next.
think the big greats out there have taken huge risks.
Oh,
they've
yeah.
they've failed, if whatever perspective you want to call failure.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a true innovator reframes what failure means, and that's exactly, like, we like working with innovators who are go-getters, who are willing to take risks because there are big rewards.
And producing the show's not cheap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What is the average price to produce one of your shows? That's
Well, it depends.
It depends.
But I will
Right,
say,
right.
I would say it's a fraction of the cost of what
you go to Hollywood.
you
or
would
LA.
get. So the average episode price, like on a big network show, is a minimum of $100,000 an episode, and we can do a full season right under that. So
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
yeah. So we're also a smaller team than a lot of these big network
You don't have to
shows.
pay as many people.
Yeah,
Right.
Erica was like, when she went and worked with USA Network on the show, she's like, wow, I was used to being on a set with 3 of us, and there were like 100 people on this set. Oh my gosh. Like, so a fraction of the cost, but we're all wearing like 15 different hats.
Yeah. Right, exactly. But to keep the cost low, and that helps you grow also.
Yeah. And we're not doing it detrimental either. I mean, if we feel like we need a certain position filled, we'll fill it. Like,
do you feel like that keeps some authenticity also?
Yes.
Like, just with it being 3 of you or 11.
Right. 1,000%.
Yes.
The culture is huge within our company. Within our organization, culture is number one. Like, that's energy and culture.
I think you need that in what you're doing too. Like you guys are so tight knit, and you're traveling, you're on set for how many hours a day? Like, you have to have something.
Is this what either of you saw for your life when you were younger?
Yeah.
Or in terms of reframing, is this kind of like...
Yeah. I've always like... That's the word I want to look for. I'm not trying to like say it in an arrogant way. But I've
Leo.
always...
okay, me too. Just say it.
I've always thought I was going to be great. No.
You always thought you were special.
Yeah, I've always felt special. They even had me in special classes in high school. That's how special
you were so
I am.
special.
Yeah. They're like, he's in a... I was like, see, Mom? I know what I'm doing. They gave me flashcards. It was cool. Just for me. I had a pillow that I could grab. I had these little squishy things. I wore a helmet. I was in it. Oh gosh. But I have, since I was very young, I've always felt like I was a part of something greater than myself. I always felt that I was going to contribute something larger to this world. I've always felt that. And I can't really, and in the music industry, I thought that's where I was going. Like I had a club at the age of 19. I had a possible record deal over in Europe at the age of 19. I had a lot of things that a lot of younger people don't have access to. Didn't go where I thought I was going to go. And now I'm in my 40s touring the country and outside the country. And when I was like, I thought I was going to do that in my 20s. Not in my 40s, but I've always felt something. And I think where we're at now is exactly what I've always felt. And that was to be a part of something greater with people who have that similar taste, that similar like-minded asset of like being a creative.
Yeah.
What is that?
And
how can I support that world?
I've always been a creative person. I don't know that I ever thought that I would be my own boss. Don't know that was ever an aspiration. Although after like working for other people, I'm like,
now you're like, I will never go back.
Like, get out of my way. I have big visions, and you're getting in my way. Like, so I would be doing the cheer mixes and the dances, and I would make like newsletters for the family and like send them out, and I would make
it was always brewing
for free.
Yes, for free.
The entrepreneurial spirit was there.
Yeah, and I loved to make videos. Like, I have a ton of video from my past, and he has a ton of video from his past, which I think is fascinating. We were doing that back with VHSs when you had to just like, rewind and try to get it to where you need it to start over.
Right.
So the fact but I never in a million years would have saw it where we are now. And I think that's what naturally attracted me to Andrew, was he just had this like creative vision, and I was like, I see the vision and I know how to get there. So. And
when I was just like, I see the vision.
Help me.
And I know, and I'm a workhorse. Like, help me.
Tell me what to do.
Tell me what to do, and I got you.
Yeah.
Like, I need some accountability here, because and it is. I think it's
squirrels all over in there, don't you?
Yeah. They're healthy squirrels though. They're nice, fat, lovable squirrels. I love them.
Moving around.
White ones, black ones,
all different kinds.
All kinds of squirrels.
So how has the business changed from the time that you started until now? I mean, what did you say, how many years?
18 years.
Yeah. So 18 years in a media, I mean, it has to have changed, like pivot, change. Like, as soon as you get something under control, you're probably doing something else because something else has come about.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of changes. And I think that's the inevitable part to be okay with.
Right,
and
right. You can't be a person that you're like, I need control, and I need to have a plan. Well, a plan definitely,
have a plan. Not
but not like set in time and set in stone. You have to be flexible with things, and
it's the one change in the industry itself, outside of just our company as a whole, is cell phones. And like authenticity of video. I've been promoting that since 2006. Like, use your phones, get out there, show them. It wasn't until COVID.
Yeah.
Yes, very true.
That became acceptable. And I'm like, why did it why did it take
People are
this
slow.
long?
I know.
They didn't want to take the leap.
Yeah, and
you
so
know?
that's one big one that I'm very happy that finally happened, because documentation is real time. Use whatever you have in real time to document. And when people are like, I don't want to use my phone, I need a professional, I need the, and I'm like,
That's how you get started.
that's how you get started. Like you just have to document. And so that's one big thing that I have seen is the accessibility and the okay to now use vlogger cameras, cell phones, things in
right.
those nature. Now it's accepted.
I feel like
I'm
we even see that on like ESPN now. Like,
Oh,
they'll just
everybody.
be, like, at home.
Yeah,
And they're like,
exactly.
Is this really just? Is this
That's
your
it.
phone?
Yep.
This is it.
That's it. And
It's a horrible angle.
terrible.
Yep.
Bad background.
Yep. It's flat, no light.
Audio's off.
But
Yeah.
it's real. But
Yes,
you know it's
it's
real.
real.
Yep.
Yes.
And they got their AirPod on, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. And I'm very thankful for that, because now people can start really showcasing who they are, sharing what they're up to, and building that brand. Where before people just were intimidated. I can't do it. Other changes, I mean, God, I've seen so. Even just working with your clients. Like
Watching our clients
watching our clients
grow
pivot
and
and change and grow. And so the one we're on tour with, tonight's conversation, I mean, that was a whirlwind in a year and a half. I mean, that went from a concept that he wanted a card game. He made a card game. It went viral.
filming ads
We
for
were just
it.
film-
filming
was during
ads for it, and that was
COVID,
during
right?
COVID.
Uh-huh.
And he had a dream. He jumped. He left. He was an RN for like 10 years. Left the hospital. Made a dream possible. Built these card decks that just ask questions. We made some ads for it. They went viral. People thought they were shows.
So the people in the comments are asking,
So
where are
where's-
the full episodes?
Where are these full episodes at? We want to
like,
see these
what do you
people.
mean?
Yeah, and we're like, well, they're just. And then the next thing I know, the client's like pivoting so fast. He's like, all right, this is what they want. We're gonna jump, and now we're gonna make episodes. We're gonna rent out the Dayton Art Institute, and we're gonna film episodes. I'm gonna fly all these people in. We're like, oh, okay.
All right.
So we need to now rent more gear, more equipment. We need to hire more. Okay, and then he's like, all right, we got this. Guess what? I just started my own streaming platform. Now we need to film like 50 episodes in a weekend, so I have enough content. And we're like,
yeah.
but we built these muscle rhythm with him. So now when he pivots, we're like, done.
That was a
Right, we're
huge
ready
t-shirt
there.
for me. Yeah, I'm someone who tries to like systemize and like get everything to be in this like perfect SOP. And I think the thing that I've had to learn is how to be more nimble and responsive, and finding that balance. You know, where is the consistency in the chaos, and how
Right,
can I work
right.
and adapt and be versatile?
Does your brain explode when something like that happens?
Yeah,
It
because I'm
does.
trying to like keep it grounded.
Right.
I'm like, okay, how do we make sure that this is? So it has stretched me quite a bit, and I had to learn to delegate, and he's learning to delegate.
Yeah.
Good point.
We used to be able to have our hands in every aspect of the business,
And you can't
and
anymore.
now,
Now we can't. There's no way possible.
And then but you trust the people that you've surrounded yourself
Yes.
with.
Right.
And that's key.
Yep. And that's
finding the people that
finding
we
them.
trust.
Yeah, I was gonna say finding those people, because we've had snakes come and go. We've had people that maybe just didn't even fit the vibe, or over 18
Yeah.
years, and to find those people finally that stick,
And
we
one
just
of our-
pour into them.
One of our huge core values is authenticity, because if
You have to.
our crew,
And humility.
as long as our crew, like, we want everyone's personality to shine, because we do believe in the rapport of the people on set who are behind the camera. If they're being authentic, they're giving the people on the other side
Yeah.
permission to be authentic.
Yes.
Right,
And I
right.
think that's like the magic that we're trying to create, is if we can actually capture someone's authentic expression on camera, it is, you can
feel
feel
it.
the difference. You can feel the difference when someone, like, there's a line that our copywriter wrote that I'm like so obsessed with. I have to give her all the props because it sounds cool and I didn't do it. But
I love you, Olivia.
we like to ditch the act in favor of the real. So,
Ah.
and there's a little double meaning there, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
camera
Yeah.
acting,
Yeah.
the real authentic, but also like there's the real in film. So,
Right.
yeah.
A lot of play on words there.
I know. Genius.
Like, why didn't I come up with
I
that?
know.
Yeah. But
Like,
it,
I'm the creative. Why didn't I come up with
there's
that?
so many things I'm like, these are good. And I've learned, and that's the humility part too, because you have to give credit where credit's due. You have
Right.
to allow those people to shine in those areas, because now it's a whole team. It's not just two of us. It's like, okay, we gotta.
Yeah, and I'm
We gotta
still
fill the
hiring
cups.
copywriters, even though AI is trying to take over.
Right.
That's right.
There
That's a
you
good
go.
point.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got 'em.
So like growth in the company, but how have you guys grown also?
My big one the last year is learning to delegate and focus on the company. So being an owner of a company, I'm so used to being in it because that's how
good
I
point.
built it. It was just me and getting my hands dirty.
Yeah.
So now pulling my hands off the toys and being like, you need to have your own time. You need to focus on the company. You need to help your wife and like support her. And so like that's the last year I've learned to delegate and to trust because we have a massive show on the road right now that's touring all across the country with sold out shows. Thousands of people come out at night to watch the show. And then I have to trust this whole crew to film it, make sure everything's captured on hard drives and it makes it back. Like there's a lot at stake here. I mean, there's $1 million
and you're trusting each individual person to do their job.
And it's not just the recording. We also create the environment for the live show. So we are doing a live and a recording.
I've seen some of your environment on IG. It's a
vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. And so
we'll make sure that gets linked so people
tonight's conversation. We'll send you a little behind the scenes stuff. But that for me personally has been the hardest and also the most rewarding because it was this year that I was able to say, all right, you know what? I'm only on 8 of these 15, 16 stops.
Right. It's a tipping point.
Yeah, you guys are running a show. You know, we put somebody in place that plays me. We put somebody in place who runs the camera department. We have 2 leaders kind of leading the ships. We have great crew underneath with them. Like, not underneath, but we're all like there as a unit. So that was like, so now I can come back and we can focus. Because I'm client facing, right? I'm the one who's I'm at the car wash, washing my car, and I end up talking to a guy, and then he's like, I need video, let's talk. And that's me. I'm out here. And if I'm on the road all the time, I can't be
grow it more.
Growing the business because at first, kind of going back to a question you asked, if we grew the business intentionally or did it just happen, we made a commitment to go deeper, not wider with our clients because we knew
itching down
what was possible. Like we really wanted to be realistic. And so out of nowhere, we kind of went a little wider than what we thought. But at the same time, we're now going deep with those few new clients that have come in. So it is rewarding, but you have to trust things. And I think for me, I still battle it. I think I battle this, do they need me? Oh my gosh, it's inferior. Like I'm like, they don't need me. The show's going on without me. Like, for sure. But I'm like, what? No. And now it does. It gives me the space to come home. I'm more refreshed when I go to meetings. I can go to networking events. I can be a part of the community again. Where before, I've done almost 80 cities in the last year and a half.
You're on E.
Wow.
Yeah, he was on E.
I was on E.
And I was over here you're out there like living your best life, having so much fun on tour, and I'm over here
watching the dogs,
picking up all the pieces, making sure
it was that lavish life.
Systematic stuff.
Yeah.
I'm over here like
mad for a minute, so
coming home sick every 3 weeks because I just can't get my immunity up. Like it was
because you're so exhausted.
Exhausted. I don't know what hotel room I'm in. I don't know where rental car at.
Today
you're over here.
But he makes it. Listen, though, he is a good salesman because he is making it look so great on Instagram.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm believing him. And then I go on a couple stops. The client's like, you come on. Like,
you're like, oh yes, I will.
And then I'm like,
whoo.
Lauren's like, you can stay on the road.
Roadie life is not for me.
You need to recharge. Yeah.
I'm a Taurus. I'm a slow speed. Like I'm a slow build. Like
right. Like find me the coffee shops.
Yeah.
But
so how have you grown? You feel besides like kind of being a little bit more flexible because you weren't that.
I would say emotional resilience is a big one for me.
Okay.
I'm definitely a perfectionist, and so I have had to. There's a book called The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control, and it was written by a therapist that used to work at Google. And I have now been able to hold space in a different way where I'm like, okay, whenever there is something that's like growing and a moving and a live thing, I cannot control all the pieces. I used to be able to, but I'm not going to grow if I think I have to control everything. And so me being, my emotional resilience comes from like not beating myself up nearly the way I used to if like a mistake happens. And that's also getting used to like the trust with your client and saying like, we're not going to be perfect all the time. But there was a trauma point or like early on when a mistake that wasn't even like our mistake, this woman like came at me and like put me in a full-blown panic attack. And I remember thinking like, okay, those aren't the types of people that I'm going to work with. Because I worked my ass off for you, and you treated me that way over something that wasn't even my lane. That was an IT issue.
Right.
And you wouldn't even listen to me. Like, so having that trust with clients when like something doesn't work out perfect, but we all know that we're like working really hard and we're going to figure it out, but we're also we have massive visions. And so being able to do that, and like also just with the team, being okay if I disappoint the team. And so there's a lot of crossover in like our marriage.
Exactly.
Our marriage.
Yeah. That was
the marriage dynamic.
We can go into that one. That's good. We can go there.
Can I get a shot of tequila?
The lessons that we've had to learn in our marriage are now, I think, empowering us to do that, like in our team and in our company.
So is there a point you're like, okay, 8:00, we got to shut it off. We cannot talk about work anymore.
Yeah.
Or do you constantly talk about it and constantly think about it? Or do you have to like consciously say, okay, we can't talk about this anymore?
Do you have intentional time where you do not discuss your business at all?
So I think that would be hard.
It would be so hard.
I wish I could say yes.
It's your life.
But
it's more like speaking up, like, I can't talk about work right now.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay.
Yeah. Because
like emotionally, I can't do it anymore.
Right. Because it is it's interwoven between us.
For sure.
And it's so like passion driven. This isn't just a job. This isn't a job at all for us. There's humans here that are involved. Like it's so passionate that it's hard to be like, we're not talking about work today. Now we do have those moments where like Sundays, we wake up, we go get coffee, we go on drives, and we just talk with each other. Maybe work pops up, but there's like, it's more intentional time with each other. Or at night, we're like, hey, I'm turning it off. Like last night, she's like, hey, let's go over all these questions for the podcast. I'm like, I'm not. I have to turn my brain off. This is like 8:00. I can't think anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I need just that space to just be. And she's like, yeah, totally.
I would say when all you're doing is working, it's hard to not have something else to talk about. So I think one key difference that we made in the last year is what are we doing for ourselves? And that's why Andrew's doing Muay Thai and I joined the crew team. So I row on the Dayton Boat Club. So,
okay.
Yeah. So making sure that we had something that was our own has also helped alleviate those moments of thinking that there's just work all the time.
Right. Because we do everything together. We'll go to events together. We do
like,
this
can
together.
you just leave me
that
alone?
together.
Yeah.
And it works though because we're so alike too. That I think we don't really get bored of each other.
I think she's your grounder.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And I'm her grounder in some ways.
We can switch back and forth.
We switch back and forth quite a bit actually, and so it's not like I'm so annoyed with my wife. Like we have some friends.
She's on me again.
Yeah, they're like my wife. And I was like, I don't think that would ever come out of my mouth because that's not how I've learned. You have to learn that balance as two humans that are coexisting together.
Right.
And it's okay, and that's something else I've learned. Like it's okay to have your time. It's okay for you to step away from work, from life, from your relationship, your marriage, whatever. Like, it's okay. Like, everything's still going to be the same.
Right.
It's not going to fall apart. But that comes the trauma.
That's the trust.
That's the trust you have to have. And it's like, okay, I'm taking time for myself.
Right.
And
Go row.
our client who we're on the road with currently, the tour manager and several other people are like, man, dude, so good to see you. Like, sometimes I forget when you're not even here because everything feels like you are here. And I'm like, that's
what you want.
That,
exactly.
I was like, that right there, I'm gone. Like, I don't even have to be on the next tour. You know what I mean?
It's got to take off so much stress from both of you, knowing that
the culture,
it's
the
going,
work,
it's rolling.
Yeah. And
you're not on site.
I think that's what's scary about it is like our team is so great. One of my biggest fears is what if this all goes away? Like, I don't ever want to be in the position that they don't have a job. And so that's also why it's
that's
important.
Another big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. I mean, I remember in college, my professor would say, don't work for an ad agency because they're always laying people off. My first job out of college was an ad agency and I got laid off.
Oh, they were right.
And that's a very common thing within cultures. And so I'm always trying really hard to say, like, we're not an ad agency. Like, we're a video production company.
Right.
Exactly. But as we grow, I do have that always, like, in the back of my mind is like, oh, my gosh, like.
Do you feel like with people using their cell phones and having the ability to have some of this technology, do you think that is threatening in any way, or do you think this is like above that, the creativity
AI?
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
referenced
think
AI.
I think they're really important tools if someone wants to build, right? If it's like a startup.
Right.
So you're using AI, you're using cell phones as your startup to pursue something bigger. Like tonight's conversation, he was doing all of his own content. He would be on these smaller tours doing poems, and he would turn on all his cameras and then he would go perform. He was so consistent in his startup building that it hit the tipping point when he grew and he needed to delegate.
Oh yeah.
So I think that it plays a role in the growth of what someone wants to be doing. And then there'll be a point when, hey, are you ready to scale? Because then that's when you bring people like us in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that had to be scary for him too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was,
You know, like just to, okay, here I am. I'm here now. Now what am I going to
Yeah.
do? Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
yeah,
So-
he still has his hands a little bit in the pot, but for the most part, it's really cool to not see him in it anymore. And that's been a goal for a lot of us, our team and his team, to say we need him out. Not in a bad way. Like he
Right.
needs to focus on being the talent.
Yeah.
He can't be tired on
he-
stage because he
we
was helping
can't-
everybody set up.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
There
there
was
was
like they're connecting
Yeah.
wires when he like
literally the first tour when we tested this concept, we did 4 cities, and then after that we did another like 10 because it worked. But he's out there setting up the merch table. He's hooking up all the
Wow.
speakers. He's hooking up the lights.
Yeah.
He's doing everything with us.
Very
We're
aggressive.
in Miami and we had some sound issues. He pauses the show. He's like, "Hey, we'll be back in 10." Jumps off the stage. He's running all the speakers,
And he's
checking
still,
wires.
no matter what, he'll still, and our team has so much
yeah.
respect for that because they're like,
He gets it.
He gets what we do and he appreciates what we
appreciates
do.
it.
Yeah.
And he's not just going to, and I think for us, we also want to mirror that in our growth. Like, if I do go on traveling and I'm at one of these shows, like, I can't just sit there and watch everybody like tear down. I'm trying to like get in
Right.
and help and like, yeah.
And as the director of the show, I'm still in it. I'm setting up lights. I'm pulling cords and setting up power structures or whatever. I'm like, it's a team effort. Like we all have to come in this together. There's no hierarchy within the organization. It's just we have people that we've put into leadership roles, but that's just to make sure shit goes while everyone else is focusing on what they have to be doing.
Right.
So
one person to communicate
Do you
with.
guys have a vision for where you want this to go in the next 5 years?
yeah. I mean, I say yes, but then it's like,
Right. Like 5 years is not very like
No, it's not.
It's not very long.
I mean, if
in
I'm
the
to look
media.
back, like I've only been in this seat for 11, and what we've done in 11 years is mind blowing. So I couldn't have predicted that we would be here. But then also I'm like, it kind of does make sense that we would be here because we never stopped.
Right.
right.
So
I think for me personally, in the next 5 years, is that our organization is seen even more in the light of entertainment marketing, entertainment content, and how important that is. Because by 5 years, we're going to have so many more original shows under our belt. So many more companies are going to come to us and say, we want a show to help advertise our company.
Yeah.
So, you know, in our world, in the next 5 years, I want to at least be producing 4 to 5 new shows a year, like in a rotation, or the same shows but going into new seasons. But I want to
Right.
have I want to have a library of shows that we're supporting in the region, outside the region, even if
Right.
needed.
I think
Right.
that would be like the biggest difference. Like, right, we still do corporate,
We have
small
some
business,
corporate-
nonprofit
yeah.
work. We'll always still do that for a lot of our clients. But I think the big difference is that now we're at, like, people can see, oh, we also do something else, which is entertainment marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think we want to like join festivals. That's another thing we've been talking with like some of our crew about, is producing some
documentary.
documentary works
Yes,
and things that
yes.
we can start sending to festivals. And some of our shows we can easily there's some festivals we just learned about that have like episodic festivals where if you have an episode or two, you can submit it for a festival. And I think the festival thing, it's not like, oh, we're gonna make it
You're gonna
big in the
blow
film,
up.
or we're
Yeah.
gonna blow. It's just like more awareness, more kind of even feedback, getting that in there. So I just see us getting more and more into the shows, movies, films.
Hopefully
that
more women
category.
on our team.
Yeah,
That's where you
Just
see
putting
it
that out
going.
there, right?
yeah. It's, thank God we have Cincinnati and Columbus.
We pull from
near
We
us.
pull a lot.
Yeah, there's not much in Dayton. I mean, we're pretty much it. There's not there's
the ones
very
that
few.
the people from Dayton on our team, like,
We have everybody. from
yeah.
Dayton. So it's like
good,
now we got to
good.
pull talent from
Right.
other cities.
I'm sure there's some out there, but
Yeah,
they're already busy.
So what's been your favorite? Can you say what's been a favorite production that you've done, or
Even just
you really,
one
or maybe,
episode of a show that you've done.
or maybe there's a couple you can't pinpoint one. Has there one been like
It's
super
so
fun
hard because
or
it just keeps
weird or-
getting better and
everything.
better.
Yeah, it just
So different.
There's just, I mean, somebody asked me the other day how many shows and things have we produced, and I personally have done over a dozen original shows, dating back to like the REO Life and things, and they all carry something. They all have something. I'm like, God, it's my favorite. Like REO Life, I could say that's one of my favorite things I've ever produced. But then I'm like, but then there's this, there's that.
Curveball.
Unstable Lumberjacks
Either
has
you-
been a blast to watch grow organically. I think if the show becoming a tour for tonight's conversation, that's been a lot of fun. I will say that. That's been really cool to watch.
How many so the shows, how many, like you say that they sell out, so how many people is the sellout? Do you know?
Yeah, on average, it's between like, I would say 3,000 to 6,000 people a
And
night.
this is all through social media.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the show is more than, so the show travels all over the country. We go outside the country to Toronto. We'll be there in a couple weeks.
It'll be nice and warm.
Yeah, right. I will not be there on that stop because I have delegated.
You're like, I'm sorry, I'm booked that week.
I have meetings. But to see that happen and watch people experience a live show that's not just a live taping, but they come in. We have like a club atmosphere for an hour with a DJ, and there's roaming cameras, and you see them on these jumbotrons that we have. To see people smile and have fun, that is so cool. That's another whole element outside of film, and I think that fills me up because I was a DJ forever,
good
and
point.
I was
Yeah.
in the
That's
clubs.
It's just like tying your world.
It's tying all my worlds together, and I'm just like a little kid watching everybody just bliss out, and I love it. And I don't have to work. I mean, I'm working, but I don't have the DJ. I'm just watching everybody, and I'm like, wow, that to me has been really cool.
I think all of them are my favorite because
I
of
know.
one key ingredient. And
You
that
too?
I thought she was going to say Andrew.
Us.
He's our director.
there is something so magically hard to describe when everybody involved in creating together is in their bliss.
No
And
one's
so everybody is just like driving off of each other. Like we hear from the cast, we hear from the client, or we hear from our team. Like, man, this is actually a dream come true. Like I feel like I'm really doing what I like have always wanted to do. And that is like what makes the project great for me.
You stop and think, is this really my life?
Yes.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing something I truly enjoy. I get to have fun with all these people.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm with my wife, and you know,
Yeah.
I've created so many friends, and the
Which
people
is
that I work with are great.
Polar opposite of the job that I had before
Yeah.
he stole me.
Yeah. and to
That job was so hard that I was like sick all the time. I had
and
like,
I'm wanting to go on vacation because I'm like, I don't have a boss. I'm over here like, well, you have vacation time. Why can't you take it? Well, they told me that why take it even though I'm given it. And I'm like, we got to get you out of here.
What?
Yeah, no.
Nope. No, I'm trying to go to Florida next week because I ain't got nothing. I have no shoots.
Right,
Like, and
yeah.
you're stuck. Okay, nope. I'm stealing
A little
ya.
bit of a different
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and I think to Lauren's statement about everyone in their bliss, that was a big reason why I got out of the music industry is because
You don't see that.
I don't get to see that. It's just me. Like, if I don't show up, I'm not making money,
Right.
or I'm not able to provide. And so I always saw myself building something that could support others, and mainly in the creative field. So to now be in this stage of life where we have an organization together that we're hiring, over a dozen freelancers that are creatives that are in their bliss, they're in their bag, they're having fun with shoots they want to do.
Yeah.
No one's complaining.
Right.
Everyone's making a really good living. That's like my heartstrings.
dream. Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, it's an
I'm like,
absolutely a dream
this
come
is
true.
what I've always wanted.
Right.
Not, I mean, rocking clubs and stuff like that was fun, but like to see others having
Well,
the
you're
access
creating
to that.
dreams. You're
Yeah.
creating people's dreams.
I never wanted to have it just for me. I wanted to show
You're a
people,
helper.
and that's what Indigo.
Yeah, he has Enneagram too, the helper.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Indigo Life stands for. Indigo is your creativity. It's your third eye, your intuitiveness, and then life is what we've been given. So it's like that's the whole meaning behind Indigo Life. We just happen to make videos. That's like that's the cherry on top. But other than that, it's like how can we get people in to be in their creative bag and to be making a living doing what they love, and they have their own schedule. They can be in their bliss. Because being a high school dropout and having the life that I've had, I'm like, no one handed me this.
No. It could have totally gone the other direction.
It could have. And it was heading that way at one point, and I had the self-discipline to turn it around and make a move. But I always thought to myself, if I can do this, there's other people like me. I'm not saying everyone has this in them, because I don't believe everyone has this drive.
No.
It's a different mindset.
Right.
But I was like, there's other people out there, and I want to create a space for them. And
Yeah.
so
Right.
here we are in 2024 going into 2025, and we're already like, okay, we need to hire some more people. We might need this.
Great feeling.
It's really cool, and
And scary.
I would have never thought in a million years that we'd be here though. Like
Right.
it's
And
pretty
you're doing
cool.
it in your own community, which
Right.
is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I know you're pulling in people from other places, but
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
touring and doing all of those things, but a lot of this really is based in where you came from,
Which
and
is
that's
like
so beautiful
to see things that are like
I
being
agree.
birthed in Dayton that are like hitting a national level, I think is also super cool.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
We're just a little community.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
like
a little speck on the map.
I mean, the fact that like
gem setting.
our cast is like the core cast that got this tour off the ground. A lot of them are from Dayton, and they have like blown up. Now they're like traveling around. They have security with them.
Oh, my
They have
goodness.
management with them. They're being. I mean, it is mind blowing. I'm
Yeah.
like, we're all from Dayton, but that's how it works, and they are national. I mean, this is probably one of the largest traveling talk shows in the country right now. And to know it started right here in Dayton, Ohio, and he's selling it out every city.
It just blows my
We're in
mind.
Dallas. We were just coming from Dallas last weekend, and a week before the week before the show, he opened up a matinee because he already had sold out his 8 p.m. show
In Dallas?
And then
in
sold
Dallas,
that also.
and he's almost sold that one out in a week. He pivoted.
And he probably sits there and goes, "This is my life." Like,
Yeah.
what
He's sitting
Yeah,
happened?
he made a big leap from
he's-
where he was.
Oh yeah, he's sitting in Centerville at his house. He's a marketing genius when it comes to online marketing. He's been in the algorithm.
We
So
need to
he's
have
just-
him on.
We do.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a genius. He's just a mad genius. But he's very humble. He's quiet. He carries loyalty. Like everybody who's been with him since day one is still with him. Like we came in as his first video team. He's like, "You're not going anywhere.
Like,
You're
okay,
with me.
let's go.
You're going to help me. We're going to do this. Your family. You're the team." And so that means a lot too. That that loyalty. It's not like you're just using us to get what you need, and then
And then
we're
dumping us.
disposable.
Right.
Right.
Well,
You know,
And he's
and,
a lot of
are.
and we are. There's
Right.
plenty of other
Yeah.
production
Right.
companies, right? But I'm
And
like,
he's always maintaining a lot of like humility and gratitude, I would say, for sure.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
once again, one of those people that you love to work with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Gracious.
attracting your
yeah,
own.
and we've worked with clients who will pay a lot of money and they'll want all these things, and then they just never do anything with the content, and it's like, okay,
We actually let one of them go
I let-
like that. It
yeah.
was like great money, but
it's not worth it.
You weren't using
It's soul
any of
sucking
it.
because like you're spending all your energy to create it, and then they're just
And
sitting
then they
there
just
with
let it
nothing.
sit?
Yeah, and I'm like, was I just a tax break? Like, you know what I mean?
don't- are
Did
you
just-
using me?
Are you
Yeah,
using
yeah. Are you using
Right, that's exactly.
creativity?
Now that you said that, that's how it felt. It's I'm like, it's over.
The money's nice, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah. It's over. I'm out of here. Yeah, don't use this. But yeah, it's a journey. It really
Oh,
is.
heck yeah.
And
It's
I
been
feel
a
like we're
great
just
It's
warming
been
up.
great to watch
Oh, thank you.
over the years, really.
It has.
Yeah.
It has.
Appreciate that.
Just
Yeah,
from
we
your
never
little
know who's
company.
watching. So thank you
No,
for saying
and
that.
you never do know. That's
Yeah.
a true
Yeah.
statement.
Yep.
No.
It's very true.
All right, so we can wrap it up. Misconceptions about your industry or about your company, or
Oh, this is good.
Yes.
like you're filming things, and your mom and your dad are like, what do you mean you're filming people?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. My mom's so funny trying to hear her tell her friends what we do.
I think it was
They
just
film
this.
people.
I think it was just this year our families finally realized what we do.
They
They're
are
like, how are
starting
you
to
making a
see
living?
it.
You're doing
People
what?
say your family's always last.
Yeah.
The
To really,
last
truly
ones to
understand.
really-
Yeah.
yeah.
But I would say one misconception. I'll say one. You say one.
Hopefully it's not the same one.
Yeah.
People, one misconception for us personally in the organization is people think we're influencers.
Oh.
We've heard this quite a bit.
We've heard this, which we were
quite
like,
a bit.
Like,
When
what do you
people-
mean? What do you mean you want to?
oh, they're just Indigo. Yeah, and Lauren and Andrew. Indigo, they're influencers.
Oh, they're influencers. And I'm like, because that's gotten back to us a couple times. And I'm like, how?
But how would
I
someone
have
get
1,000
that?
followers on my page. Like, how am I an influencer?
Right. So how
Yes.
would that?
I don't know. And
That's
I don't know
weird.
if it's because we just kind of keep ourselves
Here's
outside
my
and people see
perspective
us.
of that.
I don't
If
know.
I was to try to figure out why someone thinks that,
Our shows?
we are putting out so much content between us and our clients that it's creating influence, and so people see that as being influencers. But I think that's
I agree.
But it's not you guys that are doing the influencing.
right. But that shows you it's like that's the power of authenticity.
You're creating the shape behind it, and that people know that.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's funny that they're trying to understand what that means. Like people know what influencers mean, but we're not out here getting brand deals to like pump out products to everybody.
Right.
I would say that's one misconception.
Yeah. The other I would say is that it's some people are like, but I'm boring. Like I have nothing.
Right.
I have nothing to offer. Like, what would I even talk about, or what would I even do for my content? And I think that is an interesting blind spot, because it's like all you have to do is just be you. Like,
Great point.
Somebody is interested in seeing what that is.
yes,
Right.
yes.
People are interested in people. Like
Yes.
that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's why
So
I
how
think
do
the
you-
lumberjack
Yeah.
thing is so fascinating,
Yeah.
because like we all kind of wonder, like, what are you guys really doing? Like, what's this
Yes.
really like?
Right.
yes.
Right. And that's, yeah.
And that's
That show's
correct.
just, I'm just knowing where this show's going. I'm like, oh, get ready. It's, yeah.
yeah. And
So how do you bring that out of people then? So if someone comes to you like, we really want to do something, but we're just not quite sure what type of content we should shoot or anything like that. Do you like have a strategy session? You sit down with them and
the best thing for us is like, okay, like, what are you doing on a Saturday at 11, and can we just come hang out? Like,
and then you just
And then you pull
start,
a thread of
Yeah.
authenticity from there. and
yeah,
then
we
roll
just
with it.
need to know like who you really are. But it's hard for some people to drop the act or the mask, and so it doesn't always work. Some people I think are naturally able to just be themselves. Other people need a little help, and so the rapport is very important. So part of our process in creating these shows is, before we even bring out the full team, Andrew is actually going out with just a very simple setup and trying to get everybody comfortable with the camera to start building the rapport and the comfort. And then we just recycle that into like additional content that is just used, but that is an intentional psychological process that we are trying to
thaw a little.
the camera can be intimidating.
100%.
Yeah. There's a whole theory.
And Decoding Dayton like started because of an authentic experience hanging out in the backyard of John Gower, retired city planner of Dayton. We were hanging out in his backyard and hearing him talk about these stories. And he wasn't 100% comfortable with the idea of being on camera. So Andrew knew he needed a co-star. And so Andrew went out and found a co-star. And then that helped the two of them be able to have that dynamic.
one was an extrovert, one was an introvert. And I knew if I
it
could
was
put them
perfect.
together,
But
it's a safety blanket.
The vision,
And it worked.
The vision came because of an authentic moment
Yeah.
off screen, just people living their life. So
That's usually how ideas come along.
Yeah.
Around the bonfire.
yes.
Facts.
Little extra
Thank you
stuff
guys
in
for
your
being
cup.
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
We
great.
appreciate it. This
yeah.
Thank
this was
you.
very entertaining.
It was
Yeah.
very entertaining.
I know.
I,
I
like
feel like
this.
we didn't
This
get
was
to talk
fun.
about the actual shows quite enough.
That's
so-
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tonight's conversation, the show we reference, it's on tour. It is behind a streaming platform. You have to download their app. It's worth it. It's a lot of great stuff. It's a relationship debate show. So it's crazy. I always say the live show in itself is like Maury Povich and Oprah had a baby. It's enlightened entertainment. There's really great nuggets from people on the panel, and then there's moments where you're like, what just happened? But Unstable Lumberjacks is on YouTube right now. I don't know when this comes out, but go to Unstable Lumberjacks. It'll all be out by the end of December.
Okay.
There's episodes out right
All the
now.
episodes out?
DecodingDayton.com. You can watch all the episodes. there, decoding nature. Just
our
have
our
fun.
website.
You
also
go to our
has all of this
website,
on there,
indigolivemedia.com. You can junk out.
Is that the best place to go, or socials are the best? Or?
Yeah, go to our website. It'll be the easiest to find our
find all
shows.
things, yeah.
Okay.
Find all things Indigo. That's the best place. And
All things Indigo. I like it.
all things Indigo. And who knows
Indigo
what
Life.
we'll be doing? Indigo Life
Media.
Indigo Life Media. Indigo Media Life. I've had it all. So
The Andrew and Lauren show.
Yeah. Right. No, this has been great. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks so much for
you.
coming
Thank
on.
you. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
To the sippers.